And we are live. Welcome everyone. This is the third ever manifestation Q&A for the members only. This is for the tier 2. So we're just letting people fill in. I apologize for those of you that were already in before. I had a little I made a mistake when I selected the microphone and it was set to the webcam. So this one hopefully is working. So I'm waiting for more people to get in. I'm going to ask if it's the sound is good. So we're just gonna set things up and we're just gonna wait for a bit. I'm excited. I'm excited for all the questions that you guys have. And yeah, we're gonna see because today's an early one too. We're doing this one at 12 o'clock Eastern. So yeah, some people that normally come are gonna not make it, but some people that didn't get to make it last time are gonna be here. So hey, how you doing, Ankush? Hey Nikki, nice to see you. Yes, you made it. Just so you guys know, can you guys hear me loud and clear? Just feel free to let me know in the comments in the chat. Yes, you sound great. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I chose the right microphone setting, so it should be coming from this one. So as long as it's coming from this one, I'm happy. If it sounds like hollow or like crappy in any way, please let me know. And good morning to you, and good afternoon to everyone else, and good evening to some of you. Let me move this here. Let me put the camera a little bit down. There we go. This camera is so fancy that I use for you guys. Like you have no idea. It's a like a 4K. I don't think I use it to that setting though, but it's like a nice fancy webcam, but it's like AI. So if I was to I think I have it turned off, or maybe I should turn it off if I don't already. This is the right video. Yeah. Yeah, I had a mix up with like I did a live stream before, but I was as I was telling people that I as I hit go live, I saw that the microphone selected for the live was the webcam microphone. And that one would give the sound of the first ever Q&A that we ever did, and I hated that sound. So I was like, "No," and then I was literally as I was live, I was like, "There's gotta be a way where you can kind of just change it in the stream. You shouldn't have to close the stream," but I literally couldn't even find it. I even forgot to turn on my light here. Give me 1 second. There we go. I was like, "Why am I so dark on the screen?" There we go. Now I'm bright. There we go. I was like, "Why do I look so dark?" And I realized it's because half the screen's lit up. My other half is has some other dark stuff. And I was like, "Oh, now you guys can see me." There you go. Let me How's everyone doing, by the way? How's everyone been? How's your weekend been and your week? Sorry, I'm just checking some. Oh, I'm gonna have to delete this. Give me 1 second. Weekend has been amazing. Okay, very stable. There we go. Hello, hello, everybody, and everyone that's chiming in. Weekend has been amazing. Good, exactly. And how's the mental diet been? I assume it's been great if it's been amazing. And this is the second day of the week, so you guys should be like, how have the habits been? That's what I'm curious about. How have the habits been for you guys? Wait, do I gotta focus in? Give me 1 second. Ooh, there we go. Hello, hey, how you doing? How you doing, Benny? I gotta delete. I forgot. I hate that like YouTube. I gotta just delete it from the. All right, I just deleted that video. Okay, it automatically uploads like the last live that I did. That was like 50 seconds where I was testing stuff out. I was like, oh no, so I had to delete it. Let's see. I had a great mental diet. Felt very calm, peaceful. Okay, good. I'm doing well, trying to do my best with my mental diet. Haha. Okay. Trying to do your best. So what's stopping you? What's making it harder? What kind of habits? Feeling calm. Oh, just in general, right? Like I mentioned to people in one of the videos that I pretty much like want to start doing, like I want you guys to start finding a habit, like at least one bad habit this week, and you guys just cut it out. Like no matter how bad you want to scratch that itch, you guys just choose to not scratch that itch. So for example, if your itch is to find someone and like sorry, manifest someone and be with them and be happy and in love and all this stuff, then that's great. But you're gonna be like checking their social media or something, right? And when you do that, you're doing that because you're scratching an itch. You have an urge, a desire to get some relief, some satisfaction of some sort. But realistically, if you had that person, you wouldn't be doing that, right? So you gotta remind yourself that, hey, instead of continuing this habit of checking the 3D again and again and again and again multiple times a day, instead give to yourself what you want. If you're checking the 3D, you're obviously checking your person's page. You're checking them because they're not yours and because you want them and because you're worried about other people and so on and so on. Okay, if all that is happening, then clearly continuing to be aware of it is not going to serve you. So instead, what do you want as the end result? Right? What would make you stop doing this? And it would be if they were yours. So feel the relief of them being yours and kind of change the habit. That's all it's for this week. Just have some fun with it. I got some coffee here too, so I'm ready to go. Ooh, actually, I have a question. I saw someone ask the question in the comment section also. If I can't really visualize, just saying it to yourself and knowing it's done is enough. I'm asking this because, okay, I'm waiting for part two. Don't worry. I'm going to try to move the mic away from my mouth when I sip coffee because I don't want you guys hearing me slurp or anything. Oh, man, we're here. I'm excited. I love these little lives because it's just like you can just be yourself and you guys can just ask anything and I can just like I don't have to rehearse anything, right? I just I just look at the question. I'm like, all right, easy to answer. So these are fun. Everyone gets value and I enjoy it. So and I was debating on actually because like this microphone, it's so heavy. Like if you guys understood, like look at this thing. This thing, this thing weighs like it feels like 5 pounds alone, just like the part that's holding this microphone. So I hold it like kind of on my stomach almost, like, when I'm talking right now, because I'm waiting for the boom arm to arrive, which is being delivered today. After this live, it'll be here. And a part of me is like, it comes with this extender thing, but I got a feeling it'll be, like, way too big. One second. Yeah, look at that thing. That would bring this up to, like oh, no, that'd be yeah, I gotta keep holding this, okay. Thank God the extender comes or sorry, the arm comes today, because I could have it just hanging here, and I don't have to hold anything, so I'm like, "Yeah." So, if you guys see me moving this around, it's literally because 'cause I'm holding it in my hand. I could just leave it on my desk too, but then I have to like lean forward to give the best sound, and it's just I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm asking this because appearance change needs to have specific image ready. I feel the delay has been much better. Okay, um, so regarding the like physical changes and stuff, it's like I don't want you like I personally, if I was gonna take someone under my wing, I would never tell them that you have to have an image of something. Otherwise, you won't manifest it. I would never tell anyone that, and I don't want you walking away from this life thinking that that's how it has to be because it doesn't. And the truth be told, it's just a matter of the like Neville says, is the feeling is a secret, right? And feeling is multiple things, right? And there's a quote that he has. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. It's when imagination is in conflict with feeling, feeling will be the victor, or feeling will always be the victor, something like that. And like that right there is telling you if what you feel to be true is going to be your experience and you know this and you can do all the imaginal acts you want, but you're feeling crap, you're feeling that you're aware that you don't have whatever it is you have, then you're going to experience what you feel to be true, right? Because remember, your beliefs shape your reality and your thoughts, emotions, expectations, they all play a role in shaping your beliefs, which also shape your reality. So that's why in your situation, right? And I think somebody I don't know, because I somebody today asked a question about physical appearances, and I gave a massive answer. And I don't know if you saw that answer I gave them, but I was pretty much explaining to them too that like you don't need to visualize. And it's simply, and I said to them, you would obviously feel some sort of happiness or joy if you are looking in the mirror and you see the change that you want, no, and therefore no image is needed. Just focus on the feeling instead, on returning to that awareness and that aware. Like for me, I'm not saying you need the emotion, but for me it's like a trigger to know that I did it right. So if I'm wanting a physical change, let's say I want a smaller nose or whatever, and or even a bigger nose, just something, it doesn't matter. But let's just choose the nose, right? Or let's say, okay, my nose is actually broken from boxing. Like it used to be perfectly straight. And everyone always used to tell me, especially girls would be like, your nose is so perfect and da da da. And then it got broken boxing with the heavyweight champion of the for the country at the time. And it was like the dumbest punch too. Like it was so slow and it didn't even hurt, but it was just the right angle that just it crunched my nose. And with that being said, it's like, okay, let's say I wanted it to be realigned because I didn't go to the hospital for it. Like I didn't even realign it really. My coach just looked at it. He's like, oh, it doesn't need to be like shifted that much in. And then he's like, just leave it. And he's like, you don't need to go to hospital for this. And so I left it. But I can't breathe like 90% out of my right nostril due to it. And the nose is like a little like crooked like there because of it. So of course they need to re-break it and then realign it so I can breathe better. But with that being said, it's like, okay, let's say I wanted all that. So if I want these changes and I'm then deciding like, okay, I'm gonna feel, oh, I don't know what it would look like to be able to breathe 100% out of my right nostril, right? It's like, no, I would be screwed. Like the law would be so stupid if I needed an image of that. It I would understand. I would feel so relieved if I could breathe. Honestly, it doesn't even bother me. I'm so used to it, and my cardio is still good, even in sparring and everything. Like it doesn't affect me. But I'm sure it would be easier, right? It's just I my body adapts. If I need more oxygen, the body will work towards it somehow. But like, I know I would feel relieved. I'd be like, "Oh, that's so cool. I have my oh, I can finally breathe fully again," and stuff like that. So, like, that's what I would focus on. I would start feeling relief of that and things like that, and not even worry about the image. So if you can't focus on if you can't create an image, then don't worry about it, right? In my opinion, I've always gone for, like, the feeling. I don't care about the image. To me, the image isn't what manifests. It's what I'm identified with. Ugh. Also, just a warning, a heads up, you might hear my dog go a little crazy for like about 30 seconds. I have somebody coming over to drop something off who he loves and trusts. And when that person comes over, my dog is gonna start uh being a rat. He's gonna be a big rat. You're gonna hear him like do these little cute cries. Possibly. I don't know. This mic might block it out, but if so, I apologize in advance. I just figured I'd warn you. Um, let's see. I had some negative thoughts when I bought the past in present moment, but then I brought my awareness back to desired and is it right? Okay, so you had negative thoughts when oh, so when you thought about the past, okay. And in the present moment, and then I bought the awareness. And I mean, to be honest, like if you have a negative thought and that negative thought isn't bothering you, I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't be like, oh no, that negative thought is gonna ruin my life. But if you sit there and you're like, "Oh, it's gonna ruin my life," and now you're feeling that it's true, congratulations, you're planting seeds against yourself, right? And with that being said, if I was in your shoes, right, I would first evaluate, is this thought bothering me? If the answer is yes, then I would understand, okay, there's a reason it's bothering me. It's bothering me because I'm not identified with, first of all, my I amness. I completely forgot that I am literally the reflector of my personal reality, that there is nobody outside of me that can cause anything to happen in my personal reality. And if God came down into my, zapped himself into my mind, and then, saw my problems for what they were, would he feel this way about the thought? The answer is no, right? And then you start realizing, "Oh my god, I'm being so silly. I'm I'm looking at this as a human. I'm not looking at this as someone that knows these thoughts are temporary." Because remember, your thoughts, they don't spawn out of nowhere. I know some people have come to me and said, "Oh, but my favorite coach said, hey, your thoughts, um, they're not your fault and they don't come from." I'm trying to remember what my clients have emailed me before. Like, they're pretty much saying that they're not your fault because they come from nothing, and it's just, you don't have to feel guilty about negative thoughts. And I told that person, I'm like, because they asked if that's true, and I explained to them kind of 50-50. I'm like, I agree and disagree at the same time. So, number one, I agree with not blaming yourself. I'm not going to blame you for your thoughts, because anyone that studies Neville knows that he talks about like moving like through Israel and all these other places, right? And in doing so, he's talking about states of consciousness, and he's explaining that your states of consciousness, like every step you take, you're going in and out of states of consciousness. And I did an exercise with a client, and I'm not even gonna say her name because I don't know if she even wanted her first name out there, so I'm just gonna call her, Jessica. So, Jessica, I was telling her, and I was explaining to her, she's like, "Where are these thoughts coming from? These negative thoughts and things from the past." I explained to her, "Think about it like you're in a room, a 10 by 10 room, and that 10 by 10 room is filled to the ceiling." It's only 7 feet tall, so it's a short ceiling. It's filled to the ceiling. Like, you can't see one spot on the ceiling that isn't a balloon, and attached to each balloon is an individual long string that is like right there. It's like right beneath, it's like your belly button line. So it's a pretty long string. And that means you can grab any single one. So if I was to tell you, so I told Jessica, I'm like, okay, go in the corner, and when you're ready, I'm gonna tell you go, and I want you to just walk laps around the room. Just imagine you're walking laps around a room full of balloon strings hitting you. Every step you take, you're getting hit by strings. Those strings signify, in other words, a state of conscious, a belief, right? And each string has like a reality attached to it. So she would I kind of brought this up for her because she mentioned anxiety, and I explained, when you have anxiety in that moment and you felt bad about that thought of the past or the fights or whatever, you technically were like, okay, in the process of getting hit by a bunch of strings, you grabbed one and decided to stop and be like, okay, I'm going to believe in this one. This one is true about me. And in doing that, you then got the anxiety because the belief comes first, emotion comes second. So I explained to her, I'm like, when you realize that's the only reason you're feeling that negative belief, and that balloon is also spawning the thoughts, then you realize, oh, I just in a state that created that is bringing these thoughts, that's spawning these thoughts, but it doesn't mean that I have to react to these thoughts. I just slipped in a state where it would allow this to pop up in my brain. And now you understand like where bad thoughts come from, right? They don't come out of thin air. They come from the state of consciousness, right? Your beliefs are the thing that spawn everything, right? Because think about it. If you have a belief that hey, you live in an unsafe world, what do you think that could manifest as? Right? That could manifest as getting robbed, taking money out of an ATM. That could manifest, uh, you know, uh, getting shot somewhere. It could manifest getting in a car crash. It could manifest that world war happens and everyone gets obliterated. It could happen a billion different ways. But you have to really understand, like you're in conscious control from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. You're in full control of your entire decisions that you're gonna make that day. So when you're worried, ask yourself, oh, if I'm worried, I'm feeling an emotion. What emotion am I feeling? Anxiety. Okay, what are you anxious about? Allow yourself to trace it back. And from that point, you can find the core belief and recognize, oh, I'm just holding this as a balloon. It makes no sense to be upset. It makes no sense to fear a thought. Why would God be afraid of a thought? That's so silly. Imagine being afraid of your own creation. Like, that's crazy. And that's how I want you to look at it. Okay. Man, this better, yeah, I can actually tell it should be using this microphone because this thing like pulses when I speak. So I was thinking, I'm like, man, this better be the right microphone for this live stream because I was so excited to use it for this one. But I hope that answered your question. And like, just remember, when you can dissolve the silliness, like when you can see the silliness of bad beliefs and why it doesn't serve you to hold them, then it makes no sense. It literally makes no sense to sit there and be like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing this then. I'm gonna consent to the worst. Thank you. No, it's so dumb, right? You know what? Let's switch up the background a little bit. Let's have some fun, guys. Hold on. Um, I don't know. I might put it back to what it is, but I want to test around with something. Hold on. There was one I really want to see how it looks like on camera. I should have done this off camera, to be honest, but I figured, it's alive. We're real people. And there was one called fireplace or warm, sorry. Emotion. Rush, heartbeat. No, it's not that one. Oh, fire. Okay, get ready for the lights in the background. Hold on. Oh, look at that. It's supposed to simulate like a fireplace, I think. Or maybe this one is not the fireplace one, but it's just called fire. There's one that's supposed to simulate a fireplace. I think that's close enough. Do you guys like that? Is that background too distracting, or should I put it back to the static one? There's so many. There's like meteor, ripple, wave, forest. I don't know what the hell that is. Cherry blossoms. Um, let's see. Um, where did I leave? Okay. Oh wow. I'm glad you're all right. I have deviated septum, so it's pretty. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, yeah, don't worry about it. Like my nose, it doesn't bother me at all. I broke it like years ago. Years ago. I broke it before the pandemic began, so it was already like years ago, and I've lived with it ever since. Right? Like it's no big deal. It doesn't affect my quality of life. I can still beat the crap out of people. Like it doesn't affect me, so I'm good. You know, I'm sure eventually, when I'm done truly stepping in the ring and sparring people and training with like athletes that are either professionals or amateurs, that's when I'll probably be like, okay, if I'm not getting hit in the face, then there's no point protecting my nose anymore or not protecting my nose because my coach told me the reason he told me not to get surgery was he's like honestly like you're competing and he's like you're gonna break your nose again and again most likely. So he's like instead of fixing it and going through the pain of having to re-break it and all the surgery and everything, he's like just wait till you're retired. So that's what I'm waiting for. Um, okay. Mm. Is it okay to decide to never contact SP first because of bad treatment by her during manifesting her? Maybe she can reach out first. Okay. So, mhm, great question actually. And you know, let me think how I want to word this for you. It's very tricky. Sorry, I just read something. It's very tricky. And like the subject's a little tricky because I understand. I've been in both shoes. I've been in the shoes of understanding the law and not taking things personal, but I've also been in the shoes of being really, like, treated terribly by, like, the person I love the most at that time, and it's like and it's hard, and it's hard to forgive someone even knowing the law. So, you're at, like if you're at I tell people it depends because, like, if you're at a place where you need forgiveness and you need like, you just can't forgive them. You can't look at them and not get upset for how like, what you went through, how you were treated, things just whatever happened. If you can't get past that and you can't just love them and you can't just focus on them being the way that you prefer them to be because you keep going back to the past, you keep reliving how they mistreated you, and then that angers you. And then even though you know the law, it's still not easy for you to let go and forgive that if that's where you're at. I honestly, for like, I wish I knew that there was a technique, and I don't know of one today, and if there was, trust me, I'd be teaching it to everyone. But in my experience in being in those shoes, time was the only thing that healed, and I learned that really, the saying is true, time heals all. So, with that being said, there are people who instead can look past that and really not no, I don't wanna say hold a grudge, it's not really a grudge, it's more so, like, hurt and disbelief. Because I get it, like, if I know what you're talking about. Because it's like, you just can't believe that someone would, like, treat you that way and talk to you that way and just treat you so little, and that's the part of the game that seems so real, that's part of the game that just seems so realistic, like it's happening to us, and that's the part where we disconnect and it looks like they're doing it to us, but realistically, they were just pushing you up, like, you sorry, they are just you pushed out. There we go. I had to like calm myself down. And when you realize that and you have a choice to make, it's like, look, am I going to forgive her for all the things she did? Even though she did them to me, I accept and I can understand that she was reflecting me. No matter how hard it is, I know that she was reflecting me. And if you're at that point where you can do that, that's great. If you can't do that and you're just angry the whole time, I would just tell people, try 2 things. One of them you're not gonna like most likely, one of them you're gonna like probably. Revision. I would go back to the moments that piss you off about how she treated you, and I would revise those little moments. I personally hate and I sorry, hate is not the word. I just don't enjoy doing revision for stuff like that really. I just like looking ahead. So for me personally, I would go to option 2, which is time. You sometimes just as a soul, and I've been in those shoes where you just need time to heal, and you're just not ready to look past what they did to you, regardless of what your knowledge is about the law. And if that's where you're at, like that's what you should be doing. Because trust me, if there was a technique, I would have done it myself back then. But there's no technique that I know of, and I haven't read of anything for that. Yes, people will say, and I've ignorantly told people, "Oh, like how can you hold something against someone if you know that they're like if they're you pushed out, that makes no sense." And I used to ignorantly say that until I was in a situation where even knowing that I was treated so terribly. And it's like because the words were nice, but the actions were terrible. And that's the part that really got me. And you know, that was my situation back then, and I've been in those shoes, and that put me and this is the part where I'm grateful for things like that, because then it made me a better teacher. It taught me that to have more sympathy for people that say they can't forgive, because it put me in a situation where I couldn't forgive even knowing everything that I know. So, that taught me a lot, and that's why I'm telling you that if you're in that situation, give yourself time. You don't have to manifest anything. She will always be around. It doesn't matter if she's married by the time you're ready to forgive her. You can always manifest her. Nothing's stopping you, okay? If anything is if anything is possible to manifest, then why do we have people die out of nowhere, such as a car accident? Can't we choose when and how we die? And if time doesn't exist, why do we age? Okay, truth be told, I mean, death. Here's the thing, and hopefully it doesn't trigger. It probably won't trigger anyone in here, but it might trigger somebody that's a public viewer that's not a member that will watch this in the coming days. Give me one second. My mouth's dry. Um, so, whew, a lot of things to pinpoint in your comment, your question. So, number one, I always tell people, and this is the triggering part: death is not in your control. I know. But Neville said anything, anything. No, he didn't say you can become Goku from Dragon Ball Z just because he said anything. He didn't say he can grow 30 limbs and turn into a gargoyle. And he didn't say that. He's talking about love, health, and wealth, the three basic things in life. That's all he talks about in his lectures for a reason. He doesn't talk about like crazy stuff. And think about it. His niece, or sorry, his nephew was gonna die. Don't you think he would have sat there and been like, I'm gonna heal him? No, he went to comfort the mother because he knew death is not in his control. He could plant the seeds, but it's up to that soul of that nephew to decide if it wants to stay or not. So death is not in our control. Death is not something that we can just boop and oh, I control it. Yes, I know the Bible says I control good and evil, life and death, and blah blah blah. It's talking about other things. It's not talking about literally like, oh, I can kill you if you piss me off, and I can also bring you back to life. It's not like that. Death is and you'll learn this reading Seth more than Neville, because Seth goes into more detail on this topic. But death is it's a very intimate and a very serious decision for a soul. And that's the decision to go home. And if a soul doesn't want to be here anymore, nothing that I do is going to change that. What I can do is I can send telepathic messages. So this is what thought transmission is. Seth describes it in his literature. So when I'm manifesting an SP, let's say I'm manifesting the famous Melissa, right? The one I always use as an example. So if I'm manifesting the famous Melissa and I focus on just feeling loved by her, and I focus on just us together, even though she told me she hates me, and I'm just feeling loved and everything, she's gonna start getting thoughts about me, and she's gonna start thinking about me and missing me, and so on and so on. And it all depends on my consistency. So she's going to start playing that out to an extent, right? When it comes to death, that is similar but not identical, because it's not like, oh, then the same thing applies, then they're gonna start being healthier. No, if they can get the messages, but if the soul still says, I don't want to get better, I want to go home, I want to wake up, I want to try again, I want to do something else, then it's gonna reject those messages. And that's why I say death is not in my control, right? Like for my mom, she had cancer and she had it twice. So each time I planted seeds, and she's been cancer free for many years now, and she's doing well and everything great. But I understand it wasn't 100% me. It's like, yes, I gave her soul the suggestions, and her soul wanted to stay, so it chose to not be sick anymore. But realistically, if her soul wanted to go and she was deteriorating, yes, it would be hard to watch, but I would understand that that's her soul's choice, and then I'm gonna see her again. So that's how I want you to look at it. Let me get to the other part of your question. Regarding people, why do people die out of nowhere, such as car accidents? Same thing, right? It's just their choice. It's their remember everything. The guy getting shot, the guy getting killed by a train, the guy falling off a bridge, the guy anything. It's all consented to. Nobody dies against their will. So when you realize that, as crazy as it sounds, and that's why I say it's a triggering part. It's a topic that a lot of people are not ready to talk about, and they're not I don't wanna use the word intelligent enough. It's mature, that's the word. They're not emotionally mature enough to have that conversation. A lot of people and remember, this is just a belief I'm holding, right? And, of course, I could change that, I just don't care to, but it's just from my experience, so that's my belief, and I just haven't changed it, but I see a lot of people that always fight for limitations, right? Some people are trying to manifest something, you know, insanely like big, and I might say something that might discourage them, so they're going to start arguing limitations, and that's why I usually avoid that topic. But that's just the truth of it, right? Everyone consents to it. And just so you know, the people that are dying in your perspective, through your perspective, like you're not causing their death at all. You're not those people aren't being hurt because of you. You're not causing the issues around the world, the global issues. You're the thing that sustains everything, but you're not the one that's the cause of like, oh, that's why Ukraine got invaded, right? You're not um, you're not to blame for that. One second, let me get to the next one. Can you talk about partial results? Specifically for me, SP leaves me on red for weeks. I'm not chasing or double texting. Okay, great, Nikki, great. Also blocked him on socials for my own sake. Okay, honestly, Nikki, I'm proud of you. Honestly, I'm very proud of you. In my opinion, out of sight, out of mind is like the best. Sorry, it's more so out of sight. So that way, when they're in your mind, they're not out of it, but they're in it. They're just in it in a better way, right? So 100% I'm on board with you so far. Let me find out where I left. Okay. I also blocked him for my own sake, but every couple of weeks he texts me he misses me. That's your movement. That's the things you're doing. Congratulations. Sends me roses, but says nothing. Okay, it's still your manifestation. What am I doing or not doing that keeps causing this? Easy. This question is right in your face. The answer is right in your face. I want to talk daily and spend lots of Oh, I think you're supposed to I think you meant to say time, lots of time together like we used to. Okay, yeah, yeah, for sure it was time. Because I was like, "Wait, told?" I was like, "Wait, is told the word?" I'm like, "Wait, is told used in a different way?" I was like, "What?" I was so confused. I was like, "Wait, did I make a mistake?" Okay, so you said, like, "What am I doing wrong?" Number 1, that sentence is like, why are you worried that you're doing something wrong? Sorry, I thought I muted the mic. If this ever goes red, by the way, it means it's muted, and just type in, like, "Your mic's red," or whatever, and I'll know because I might accidentally, like, mute it, so it's like, "Hold on." Now you can hear me. I love it. Um, but anyways, so I would be like, "Why are you not just focusing, like, viewing things like they're unfolding in your favor," right? Like, yeah, he sent you roses and said nothing. It's okay because what you're doing is working. The fact he's even thinking about you and he misses you and he's sending you roses, believe me, that's beautiful. And use that to your advantage, snowball that, be like, I manifested that, I reflected that because he didn't do that days ago, but I was planting seeds days ago. Maybe not for the flowers, but if you were feeling loved, right? Those flowers could make you feel loved, and therefore it matches the experience. So there's so many reasons those things happen, but it's all because of you. So in your situation, right, you see he says nothing. Right then and there, you recognize that's the crossroad I always talk about, the famous crossroad. You recognize you don't like something. And then you're about to hear my dog go a little crazy for like 30 seconds or less. Oh, or maybe not. Like I said, the mic might block it, but someone's just dropping something off in here. And with that being said, it's like you recognize that crossroads, and that moment is the moment where you can literally go, it's like, hey, wait a second. He didn't send me the thing I wanted. I wanted a text message from him. I wanted messages. I wanted to be sweet and follow up on that. Okay, you recognize how reality didn't go the way you wanted it to go, but you understand in your power, you can literally feel like it went that way. And by doing that, you understand logically, hey, if I do this, it's going to eventually reflect experiences to match this. And therefore, you can trust your inner world more than your 3D. And when you do that and you trust your 3D less, and you're not phased by it because you understand it's the past. Even those flowers were the past. They're not the present. Those flowers are the old you. Right? Your 3D, a simple way to explain it is your 3D is a delayed reaction of your emotional reactions. It's a delayed reflection of your emotional reactions of the past, if that helps you understand it better. So if you're getting a little bit of hot and cold, so roses but no message, that means what? That means you're going 50-50. That means you're in and out, you're hot and cold, right? Like that Katy Perry song, "You're hot and you're cold." Yes, and you know yeah, like, it's the same thing, right? You're in and you're out. So, it's the same thing. So, when you realize, yeah, you guys didn't even think you're gonna get Katy Perry in this live, like, come on, who do you think I am? One of a kind over here. But anyways, it's like, yeah, like, you're going in and out. You're being a Katy Perry, and, I might have to get a Katy Perry emoji now just for that. I might have to commission an artist to, like, add some emojis for that, because 'cause I'm gonna add some more too, by the way, but, um that's what I want you to realize. Like, find those little crossroads where you have those little opportunities where you can genuinely be like, I these are the moments I need to live by the law the most. So if you recognize you don't get a message, then give it to yourself. If you wanted him to send you flowers 2 weeks later, but he didn't, give it to yourself, meaning internally. Feel the relief as if he did give you flowers. And by feeling that, you're planting that seed. And then it gets flung towards your future, and that will be a future experience you're gonna get. So just remember that, okay? Like, don't ruin the good work you're doing by going 50% the opposite direction of the work you've done, right? What's the point of one step in, one step back, or one step forward, two step back? It's not fun. It doesn't lead to good results. So just remember, be consistent. Everything that you notice that's bad that you don't like, good. Switch it for what you want. It's kind of like you're doing mid-air revision, technically. Like, that's the only kind of revision I like doing. It's like the midair, how do you call it? Yeah, I guess it's midair revision, right? Like Seth says, if you can change a belief in midair, like, you'll get the results of it. So, okay, let's see the next question. But yes, Nikki, you got to stay true to your end. You literally can't afford to just waste time and be like, oh, I'm gonna be upset and I'm gonna choose to, he didn't send me flower or sorry messages, or he didn't do this, or he's not following up or being sweet. In those moments, those little crossroads, if you patch up those little crossroads and you make the right choices, you're gonna have smooth sailing. Okay, let's see the next question. Sorry, I'm just fixing my hat. Let's see. Okay, question. I worry about all the unknown negative beliefs that may appear on the 3P in the future. My brain right away goes, "Hey, Mackenzie, how are you?" My brain right away goes, "There's no like hidden beliefs." So it's like it's already like boop, red alert. We got to touch on that. Okay. What is the quickest way to get them to surface so I can see and cancel them with new ones? Okay, so I'm glad that you're aware that beliefs are what shape your reality, and that's great. The one part I don't like, and I'm only telling you this because I view you guys like it's everyone in the membership. It's I view you guys, even though I'm not to an extent, I'm taking you guys under my wing, right? Eh, How do I explain it? I'm kind of teaching you how I would teach myself. And that's what this membership's for. It's like if I could talk, and I'm actually gonna make a video and oh man, that video. I'm dreading making that video. It's gonna be so good, but it's gonna be rough. But it's gonna be a video where it's like I talk to my younger self of how I would tell him like about life and reality and what to do, right? It's kind of like leaving a little instruction manual. And that's kind of like what I try to do for you guys. So I kind of look at that and I'm like, huh, if I was gonna teach her or him and I was taking them under my wing, I wouldn't have them do it this way. And these are the reasons why. And that's why I'm gonna get into this for you. So, like, it's great that you look like you understand that belief shape reality. But the one part I dislike about your approach is that you think that there's something hidden or unknown that can just attack at any time. Because that's false. Everything is conscious. Everything. There's no such thing as a belief that's hiding from you. You're just not aware of it. You just haven't shined the light on it. Okay. And that's the beautiful part. And if you wanna know where they are, because you said, "I wanna bring them up so I can cancel them," right? Don't look at it so much as canceling, and I don't blame you because I know the way I word things and teach, it might lead someone to think like, "Oh, I just gotta cancel out that one with good seeds." And yes, to an extent, it's actually true. You're not wrong there. Trust me, you're not wrong. It's just I want you to kind of switch that little perspective to be more like, "I want to see my beliefs so I can not fear them, but understand which ones are left to change. And it's not really canceling, it's more just observing. You're just understanding what needs to be changed, if anything needs to be changed. And that's why I love Seth's approach for individual belief work over Neville's as an example. Neville likes to embody states which have everything all at once, which is great. I enjoy Neville's way of manifesting more than Seth's way, but for individual beliefs, such as finding individual ones that you want to change, I'd go Seth route more than Neville's route for that. So that's why I combine the two, right? So if you want to know which beliefs are kind of they're holding are bad for you, think about topics. Think about love, think about relationships, like think about your self-worth, think about money, think about your relationship with your family and friends and how people view you. Think about the state of your country. Think about all these things. You're going to start finding where your brain goes naturally is showing you where your beliefs are. So if you think about um let's say I've worked with some women who, as an example, they have very bad beliefs about men because they've been cheated on, and being cheated on is obviously like it sucks. It sucks. I've seen so many people that have been cheated on, and it's not fun. It hurts. It wastes your time. You know, some people waste years. I know someone that's wasted years, and then they got cheated on, and then they're just like having to start over after many years, and like that's so demoralizing. And I get it. And because of those experiences, it makes certain women that I've worked with a little bit harder to accept that a man would just be willing to just give them everything and love them and not cheat, or to not mistreat them or to emotionally abuse them in certain ways. And the thing about that is, it's like when you realize that you're like those patterns are what's gonna keep them in their hell of that fear, and they're kind of focusing on the bad experiences. Like you can kind of recognize when you step out and you observe them, and you observe these cases, you recognize, hey, the continued awareness is what's causing these issues. So for them, it's the same concept when I tell them, okay, let's step back and let's look at the individual beliefs. So what do you think about yourself? And they would often say the self-worth is a bad belief that they have about themselves. So then they change that, and I teach them how to do it in our calls and stuff, right? And I explain to them that they have to start really understanding like everything is finished. Like creation is finished, period, the whole way. And when sorry, let me just get highlight the question here just so I don't lose it when I move on to the next one. So, anyways, when you're trying to get to like find out what your bad beliefs are, like I mentioned, ask yourself like to focus on the topics, right? What do you believe about your self-worth? What do you believe about love? What do you believe about health and so on and so on? And when you start finding out your reactions to certain things are either good or bad, that tells you right then and there, right? Where your thoughts go negative or positive, it tells you then and there. So if you have a self-worth issue, then okay, understand that you're just like Jessica, the example I used today of a client, of how I told her like walk in a room and that room is full of balloons and the strings are all touching you. They're unlimited balloons and they're just all hitting you all at once when you step. Right then and there, you're just holding onto a balloon. That's what that belief is, a self-worth. At any point, you can grab the other balloon that's like, you are worthy. Like you have their heart. Like no matter how beautiful or attractive or how much better of an option somebody else may be, as an example, if you can accept that above all that, you're above all that, and that you as a soul are unique, and because you're just you, that's enough. You just knowing that you're enough is enough because you're a soul and all souls are perfect, and by their birthright you have everything that you want. You just have to reflect it. So when you realize that, like, does it make sense then to hold this belief of I'm not worthy anymore? If all creation is finished and everything is existing and you're the one that decides where to press your finger down on the scale, and whichever place you put your finger down on the scale to add more weight, to rig it in your favor, is going to be reflected in the future. Does it make sense then to sit there and to be like, "Oh no, I have bad beliefs that are hiding and they're going to manifest"? No, because you're putting your weight on the scale for something bad to happen, right? You're asking for a reflection that proves you correct. Like, oh, damn it, I knew I had bad beliefs, and you're gonna be like, oh, I knew it, I knew it, I thought ahead and I just couldn't see it coming. But no, you manifested it. There's realities where nothing negative happened because you're not worried about bad stuff happening, okay? Oh, 1 second. Let me get that out of here. Okay. Also, do you do any exercise for daily discipline? I guess we all would need that or anything for self check when we anything we can do as a routine daily besides reading or listening to Seth, of course. Okay, to be honest, any exercise for daily discipline. Or do I do honestly, I don't do any exercises for daily discipline at all. I don't do any exercises for discipline. Everything I understand is like a choice. I'm either hungry enough to change or I'm not. And I have to decide, am I gonna be willing to be changed? And if the answer is no, I just drop the goal until I'm ready to change. So for me, there's no questions of discipline. It's more like, am I gonna do it or not? So when it comes to like love, 100%, like that's easy for me to do. And when I get in a rhythm, like, that's when things get dangerous in a good way, like, very like, things happen fast. It's just getting in the rhythm sometimes, it's like, ugh, because it's like, um, that's, like, for me, like, my own experience, right? Because sometimes I'm not hungry enough to get into that rhythm, but once I get into that rhythm, it's like, oh, everything's just easy, free flowing, boom, 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 and just everything changes for the better, and it's just natural and easy and fun. But sometimes, like, yeah, I don't have the desire, so, um it's like it takes me a couple days or like a week to prime, and then I'm good to go. So, but I don't do any exercises. For me, I just like the only things I do that kind of would help me with discipline on a goal that I'm serious about is I kind of spend sometimes I take like a day or two or even maybe a whole week and I just sit there and I really observe all the bad habits I have surrounding that goal. And whether it's checking the 3D, whether it's worrying about a certain thing, it's going to a certain memory, whatever it may be, I I I note these things down mentally. I catch myself. I see where my beliefs are going, so I already know where I have to attack. And that when I observe that, I understand, okay, I have to break this habit, I have to break that habit, I have to change this, I have to change that. So when it's time to go and I'm getting myself in the rhythm, I understand, hey, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that, we're not gonna do that. And it's that simple, right? And it's a mental choice. And that's why for me, like I don't do that's the only kind of like exercise I do, quote unquote, but it's not really an exercise, it's just observing. It's kind of like you're going I don't wanna sound like it's a fight because it's not a fight, but it's kinda like you're going to war and you're observing your enemy, and you're looking for their habits so you can then study them and understand them better. And when you understand your enemy better, you can then attack easier. And that's kind of how I looked at it, you know? So there's no special exercise or stuff I do. If I'm ever afraid for whatever reason, I just go to a book, honestly. All right. If I can't read at the time because I'm driving, I'll put on an audiobook or a Neville lecture or something. Other than that, like I read daily though. So I don't really need, like, I read Seth, I was reading some Seth before this. I'm going to do some, I had a specific Neville lecture I wanted to read actually, and I'm probably going to do it sometime after this, but that's really all I do. There's no it's all a choice, like, it's all a choice. You either wanna change or you don't. It's that simple. So, I wish I had, like, a magical technique or something to tell you, but it's not. It's like, look, you just gotta learn the law, and when you know the law, you have to then practice making the right decisions, and when you do that enough times, it becomes natural. So, I'm just looking at the chat over here. So, if you see me looking here, by the way, I'm like, look, the chat's, like, right there, so I apologize. I gotta practice at bringing my eyes back to the camera a bit more. But it's okay, it's our 3rd live, so I'm getting better. I'm already getting better, I can tell. Let's see. What are your views about manifesting a call or a text from SP? Thought transmission, any personal experience? Yeah, I mean, I've had lots of experience manifesting calls and text and stuff like that from SPs. Um, I've also seen a lot of clients have a lot of successes with the things that they've done. And they always share with me what like they noticed helped the most and what they did, and they all have the same story. They just gave up on the old story and they refused to do the bad habits. And with that being said, my views about manifesting a call or a text, like there's no I'm not gonna sit here, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't just do that. That's stupid. Why not go to the end? Because I don't know your level of faith. I don't know if like you need a little test first to get enough faith to go to the end. Like there's so many unknowns, but it's like, okay, if you want to get a call or text message, go for it. Nothing wrong with that. But just understand, like, if it doesn't go further than just that, like, don't let that bother you. Understand that it could be something good or it could be something that leads to nothing. And you got to understand that if it's not the way that you want it to go, practice like preparing to be at peace with that. Because then you understand, hey, if I get a text message, okay, it doesn't signify that we're together unless getting that text message means to you that you're going to be together. Then you can start celebrating being together, which technically you're not manifesting a call at that point, you're manifesting the end. So do you kind of see where I'm going? Like it's so hard for me not to go to the end, but if you want to do a call or a text, go for it. It's just understand it's not the if it's if it doesn't mean the end picture to you, and don't be shocked if it doesn't lead to everything you want, but go for it, right? It's good for a little test here and there. I've had an SP before where I've even shared this. We were in the sauna, or sorry, I was in the sauna, and I even told her, I said, "Hey, I'm planting some seeds for you, just so you know, and tell me if anything happens during these coming weeks or whatever." And we did a bunch of experiments, and I went to the sauna, and I think it was like what, like 50 for like 12 to 15 minutes. I was just relaxing, doing my own thing, and then there was like a scene, a very it naturally came to me, and I without meaning to, I don't normally get into my scenes like this, but this one did, and I just zoned out, and I was really in that scene, and it was a very sweet scene to say the least, and I got out of the sauna, and it was about 15 minutes after that, and I check my phone as I'm cooling down because I'm drenched in sweat, and I'm allowing myself to cool down for a couple minutes before I go shower. And as I'm cooling down, I check my phone, and it's her, and it's a message in all capital letters that says "Stop." And that gave me the biggest grin because I was like, "What I'm doing is working," and I already knew what it meant because like they know the law and stuff too. So it's like they were telling me like stop, and I asked like I don't remember the exact quote. I'd have to bring it up, but I was like, "Oh, did you feel something?" And pretty much they're like, "Yes," and it was strong, like a lot. And I don't know if it was from that scene I did in the sauna. I don't know if it was something from yesterday. I really didn't know, like, or sorry, the day prior. But all I know is like that's thought transmission, and I've had little tests like that with people like that, and guys and girls that I've tested things like that with, like even the last 12 months, last 24 months, so on and so on. I have like all this stuff written down. It's all like I've seen the evidence of it. So that's why for me, it's like thought transmission. I see what it is. It's just people don't fully understand it. But yeah, it's 100% doable, and that's kind of how it works. So get your call if that's what you want. Oh my god, we're 52 minutes in. That's crazy. Oh my god, where did the time go? I'm so sorry, guys. Where did the time go? Let's see. I can forgive SP, but not want to initiate, even if it's inspired reaching out. Okay, I mean, you don't have to. Honestly, like, yes, there will be times where you're inspired to initiate, and that would have been a bridge where everything goes to where you want it to go. But not taking that bridge does not mean that you'll never get another bridge. Bridges are unlimited, which means if you miss one, another one appears, and another one appears, another one appears until you finally cross one of them. So don't sweat it and don't worry about it. If you want them to reach out, go for it. Just focus on being with them and being the partner instead of trying to manifest them. And that's how they're gonna reach out and come to you eventually. Or to be honest, like I'm very similar to you. I'm someone that almost never reaches out. I've only ever reached out to a partner. Whew, let me think. I've only reached out to a part. I think once. I think only one time in my life I've ever actually reached out. Yeah. Yeah. I've only reached out once in my life. So trust me, I get it. I hate reaching out. I hate doing that because I just don't like the unknown, and I know I don't have to deal with it. But the one time I did reach out, oh sorry, e- twice, my mistake, twice. And the 2 times I did reach out, it went really well. So, that being said, it felt natural, and even though I always said I'll never reach out, those 2 times, everything went great because it was inspired. I genuinely felt like I had to, like I wanted to. It felt safe. And so just be aware that even though you're saying that, there might come a day where you just feel it's like breathing. You'll just do it without even realizing it. So, mhm. Hey, Mackenzie, just making sure I'm doing states. That's my biggest concern. But following your steps and trust myself. I do like watching your states videos. Oh, thank you. I'm trying to keep a good mental diet and not go to lack. I do find myself throughout the day robotic affirming sometimes. Okay. And I'm on day 3 of trying sats, getting the feeling that I worry about. Okay. So The thing about robotic affirming is like obvious. I don't know how long you've been like. I know you mentioned in the past, and I think even weeks ago you mentioned robotic affirming too, somewhere in a comment or I can't remember where. But I don't know how long you've been robotic affirming in general or adding it to your repertoire. But keep in mind, right? Like if you're not really changing as a person week after week after week after week, you have to do some changes, evaluate your approach, right? So, me personally, if I was gonna mentor someone, I would never let them robotically affirm. I would only tell them do it if you're testing to see if it works for you. And r- shocker, if they don't change their belief, it's never gonna work for them. The technique does nothing. It's the change in belief that causes things. It's the focus and the awareness of the solution. But it's like that's the only time because I understand like people need to like. I'm not against it because fully because some people do need to experience the process of doing tech like things like that, like effort-based manifestation, so they can really learn a lot. Because a lot of people are gonna learn that, like, it doesn't have to be that way. Some will get results and they'll be tired. They'll be like, "Holy shit, I'm so tired, but I finally got it." And some people will get no results. Some people, their life will get worse. Majority of the time from what I've seen, it usually the latter. It does not get better. And usually, if people stay the same place for months and months and months. And I don't want that for you because you can remember, look at what you're saying. You you worry. You're saying you worry. And if I go back and I pinpoint and like every single comment you've made on any video, right? Or any membership post, and I was to start piecing together a pattern, right? I would find a pattern in you that there's a lot of chaos in your mind, in your internal reality, okay? And this is not to judge you. This is more so this is like coaching, just so you know. Like this is what I would tell you if you were on a call with me. I would just straight up tell you that, like, look, like you have a pattern, right? And that pattern is chaos. It's worry, it's fear. And it's been this way for however many weeks, right? So if you've been affirming for however many weeks, I want you to take a look at those techniques that you're doing and then compare those weeks. Have you changed at all due to those techniques? And if the answer is no, it's time to ask yourself, should we keep doing them? Right? Because remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing but expecting a different result. And I know for a fact, yes, for sure you can get results here and there, movement with robotic affirming. I'm never gonna say it will never work for nobody. It'll work for some people and it won't work for some people. But there's like I call it like Reverend I calls it mind science. There's a scientific way to guarantee results. I view robotic affirming as throwing shit against the wall and hoping something sticks. That's how I view robotic affirming. It's a very primitive, not in the sense of it's been around for long. It's primitive in the sense of it's not intelligent to me, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that people that do it or that teach it are not intelligent. I'm saying knowing the law the way I know, I can't logically, as a human with a functioning brain, be like, yes, it makes more sense to go against every single book throughout every single history that all agrees on the same topic and trust people that were born in the last 50 years that are telling me to do effort-based manifestation. And then going around and looking at the evidence, and I look at my emails, and majority of my clients are from people that come from robotic or effort-based manifestation places, right? Thousands of dollars later, depression later, all this stuff. So for you, I I just want you to be very careful with your approach to doing things. I don't want anyone that I'm teaching in the membership to ever think that they have to do techniques because they have to do them. I don't ever want any single one of you to do a technique because you think not doing it is going to delay your results. If you're feeling like doing a technique because you want the desire and you're craving the solution, the reality, that's when I want you guys to do techniques. If you're just saying words, but you're worrying, as you said, in other words, there's chaos internally, there's fears, there's doubts. Earlier in this stream, you weren't here, Mackenzie, but I gave a quote. Sorry, I gave a quote from Neville. When imagination is in conflict with feeling, feeling will always be the victor. That's why for a lot of people, robotic affirming does not work for them. It's not because remember, the whole point of robotic affirming is supposed to be to get you to focus on your desire. And realistically, if I was going to teach someone to robotically affirm, it wouldn't even